Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over Zoom, we'll be doing the new moon messages with Ice Cry with Steph. And so if you're interested in joining us, the link for that is in the description box below. So let's go ahead. We're just going to get right into this. Taking a step aside. And allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. So as I'm stepping into the space, I'm seeing an ocean. I'm seeing waves. The waves are crashing into a cliff. As they crash into a cliff, I'm seeing them recede. There's like this opening in the cliff, just a small little opening, and it has like this statue, and it looks like a statue of a goddess, black cliffs, white statue. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that there's something that has recently happened, or some events that have happened inside of our life that have kind of crashed into this wall, or this illusion. That's what it is, an illusion that we have had revealing something more divine in nature. So whoever this oh wow, okay, give me 1 second. All right, that was a lot. Okay, so whoever this message is for, we understand now, after some time has passed, after the different things that we've done. For some of you, you may have realized it your entire life. We know we're not necessarily from here. It's almost as though we're getting a glimpse at the humanness being part of an illusion, right? Being part of this facade that we're experiencing, or this sort of dream that we're experiencing. And we're starting to understand, as this idea slips away from us, or this understanding integrates, whichever it is for you, that there's something more, not out there but within, right? Whoever this message is for, we're starting to understand certain things about the need to wake within this dream. So there is this this navigation that's taking place of how do I how do I do this experience and still dig deeper, right? How do I go to my 9 to 5 or do whatever it is that I'm supposed to do here, and at the same time try to work on this aspect of self? That's why this message is coming through. Now, one of the things to remember is that our mastery of the illusion is the mastery of this, right? It's not necessarily to wake up and pull away from it the way that, we see maybe in like the Matrix. The point is to master it, right? The rules of this game. And so whoever this message is for, cultivating this over here, the evidence of it is the mastery of this plane, right? So one of the things that we have to step into when we come into here isn't to evade. It's not to escape, right? This is part of the illusion, that idea of escaping. It's to wake this up in the dream. So a good example of this is, for example, when people get into lucid dreaming. A lot of people get into lucid dreaming, they're like, I woke up in the dream. But the actual point of lucid dreaming as a practice within deep mystical societies, and I will also say societies, that's how I'm going to say it, is that we're waking up in the space where we don't dream. We're waking up in that space that's deeper than the dream, right? When we can bring this energy of the divinity that we know that we are, right? Whatever the story is behind that, whether you resonate as being a starseed, or you resonate as, whatever story it is that our psychology is using to interpret this storyline. When we can take this energy and we can bring it into the 3D, we can sort of work with the rules of the 3D in order to actualize ourselves. You hear me talk about actualization a lot on this channel. Then we get access to the time the time beyond the dream, right? This is almost like an in-between state. It's a state that's so deep that we're not even aware that we're in it. This is part of the point of the spiritual process. So, for some of you, there's this storyline of having to wake up where you've originated, right? Being asleep where you originated and being taken over and forced into this dream. For some of you who have that storyline, and not saying it's not valid, I'm not saying that by saying storyline, right? Part of the thing to remember is that the testing of your godhood is by exempling your godhood here, right? So this is a very interesting message to come forward. Let's see what's going on here. The king rules all, right? How do we use our power? How do we use our personal power? Notice the colors on this. These are all the earthly colors. We have our solar plexus, our sacral, and our root, right? These are, by many people, unfortunately, considered the lower vibrational colors. I highly disagree with that. These are very spiritual colors. And why? Because the testing of your spirituality is your example here. So we have this red color that's our primal nature, right? And your primal nature is extremely powerful. It's the misuse of that primal nature, because we have the unconscious deeply asleep, is the reason why we tend to view it with such a negative lens inside of the spiritual community. But your primal nature is your spirituality. It is what makes you this sort of human animal that's having this experience. This is why sexual energy is very magical energy. It is spiritual energy, right? How do we take the things that we've misaligned inside of our conceptualization and bring them back to the appropriate spirituality that they deserve, right? Understand their divinity, right? Whether we are doing that with our bodies, or we're doing that with our sense of sex, or we're doing that with our sense of pleasure. How do we take those things that we've misaligned through big religion, or through years of programming, or even cultural belief? How do we take those things and remember that those things are deeply, deeply sacred, right? There's something here about returning the sacred and returning the essence of the divine back into the mundane, because the mundane's not really mundane. That's the trick of all of it. That's the illusion, right? Here what we have is we have this sacral energy that's coming forward, and the sacral energy that's coming forward is our deep connections, our primal connections, whether those are our familial connections or our sexual connections, or they are our creativity and how our creativity is expressed. And then we have this yellow energy, which is our sense of self, our ego, our identity. Who am I here? Right? Can I bring that divinity into that space so that that space is now more powerful and more beneficial for the collective and for the community at large? Or do I stay in my ego and stay in the trappings of the ego of believing that I'm cut off and an individual and separate from everything else? Someone here, you're stepping into this energy of the king. The king understands his power, right? This is very, I get chills when I pull this one. For some of you, you're really getting into bigger levels of energy work, right? Understanding the place that we play and tipping that domino over to allow change to happen. Okay, wow, that's a lot of energy there. Okay. One of the lessons that we've stepped into for this collective is the space of the heart. My relationship to others is a direct reflection of my relationship to self, right? And the deeper we dig into that path, the more we start to understand the reflection, right? That's kind of the initiation that we take before we step into, for those of you who are interested in non-duality, you'll recognize that before you really got into the concepts of non-duality or started to understand that, you had to go through the heart space first, right? And this is an interconnection story. So whoever's message this is, either you're beginning this sort of path of understanding the interconnection and the oneness of things, or you've already done that and now it's about exerting your kinghood, right? Your royalty, your sort of power. This is something that comes with great responsibility, because we come through these lessons and then we understand just the effect that we have. So for those of you who resonate with this message, yesterday's message may resonate with you. It will be linked at the end of this video. When we have this sense of everything above the heart, so our throat, our third eye, our seventh chakra, all these things coming into alignment with those which are below, the heart becomes activated in a new way. It becomes more than just love. It starts to radiate this higher heart, and even this lower heart that we have that many people don't realize we have. It's all three of the heart centers, right? And what happens here whenever we activate this entire area of the chest is this is almost like that shield of the warrior, right? But it's not a warrior who's fighting against the people around them. It's the spiritual warrior. It's somebody who understands their place in the cosmos and their divinity within it, right? Their rulership of it. So, and it's not out of a place of hubris where they just, want to do things to gratify the ego. It comes from a place of understanding I am the one that is dreaming, and now it's my job to wake up, right? It's not forcing others. It's all about the self, and understanding that as the self does something, it's charging the collective, not because we have to influence others, but because we understand we are the one, right, that's dreaming. So whoever this message is for, this will make sense to you. This will make sense to you. For some people, this may not necessarily make sense at this juncture. Let's see. I'm being told to take from the okay, we have fog, and then we have ash. Okay, so this is the process that's currently required. I will say required. So let's read first from fog. I do read from this book. If you're new to my channel, I read from this book because I think this book is magic. I just think the way she worded everything is perfect. Disorientation, a funk, a lull. So some of you may be experiencing this at this time. When a fog is present, nothing is clear, not even to the problem. It's hard to orient oneself or to know where you're headed. A distinctly damp mood blankets the laboratory. Fog can be surprisingly pleasant as a counter to drama, and therefore it can lull us to sleep for long periods of time. With its cooling nature, fog is a natural balm for pain and trauma, yet the state cannot sustain us, for we long to see the horizon and other surroundings. There are two solutions. The first is heat. Think sweating, desire, confrontation, passion, creativity. And that's bringing me into this card that is sitting underneath here. Oh, can't get it. Okay. With that primal nature, passion, creativity. If that's too edgy, the second inevitable solution is time. As they say, the morning fog burns off by noon. The sun will be seen again. How much time do you spend in the fog is yet to be determined. More than this, what I'm seeing from all of this, right, is that sense of the illusion, right? The thing that has confused us, the thing that has hid us, the thing that has kept us asleep. And so by living in our passion, by living in our creativity, actualizing that force of creator inside of us, this is one way that we get that fog to dispel. Here with the heart we have ash. So let's see. Okay, we have memory, ancestors, the past. Ash represents what has come before it. The fire is over now, and its flames took with it all recognizable form of what was burned. Only memories and the soft gray ashen substance remain. When this card appears, look back and sift through what has occurred. You are in the realm of ancestors, past relationships, and those that have passed to another realm. Be gentle with the process, as it is delicate and sacred. The ash card asks us to tend to the true nature of endings, grief, and letting go. You may be asked to be present with others experiencing loss. When in doubt, be like ash. It is silken, light, and easily carried by the wind. Soften into the memories and into the tears. Eventually forgiveness follows and the heart travels alight. So some of you may still have things within your heart space to allow yourself to process, right? Or to give time to process. Remember, the theme of time came up here. For some of you, this may be about understanding that things are over now and that you can settle into a new journey by taking the good memories with you, especially grief, right? Sometimes when we get trapped up in grief, it's hard for us to recognize that we don't have to remember it this particular way. We can choose to remember it in a lighthearted way. So I do see this person in the boat. I almost feel that this is an ancestor that may be guiding someone at this time, so you may be aware of an ancestor that's with you. I do feel for many of you this is actually going to be a parent, and there does seem to be this energy of allowing that grief to fade, right? For some of you, there is this hardship in letting go of that grief. And I don't want to say letting go of the grief, because there's that sense of grief will always be there in some way when we have that significant of a loss within our primal roots. But it's almost like out of loyalty holding on to the grief. If I let go of this grief, I'm being disloyal. It doesn't do them service. And this ancestor wants you to be happy. This is a message that's come through. This is the second time now in the last month. So whoever that's for, my condolences to you, because that sort of grief is very difficult. But this is an ancestor that's trying to help you row your boat, so to speak, to a calmer shore. And this is the message that's coming through, is to allow this ash process to happen. But whether or not you have that taking place in your life, the message is that inside the heart space, there's this understanding now and this integration now that what's over is over. We can't continue to relive it. And if we want to move forward, at some point we have to let those reins go. Obviously, if you're still in the process of processing it, that's going to happen whether you want it to or not, right? The energy has to be there. The energy has to be seen. But I do see these flowers on the outside of this sort of nest that's surrounding this heart space, and these flowers are growing, and these are pansies. I feel a little bit like someone is starting to see different points of view within their past, and this is allowing them to forgive and have compassion for things so that they can move forward. And this moving forward is part of the actualization. It's part of that blossoming of the heart space, so that now we have this sort of that warrior's armor, right? Not in that sort of fighting low vibration sort of way, but in this understanding of who exactly we are, the story of our cosmic self, right? Some of you, I want to go back to the original storyline. I don't know why they keep giving this to me, but so this is going to be very important for somebody. If you have that storyline of being a starseed or being from someplace else, creating this world inside of this sort of forced dream, there may even be compassion coming forward for those that you feel have forced you. So this is a very interesting energy that's coming through. This is very high level sort of heart space energy that's trying to come forward for this collective. So this is fascinating. Okay, and then I'm being told to take one more. Stargate heart. Heart chakra opening, unlocking, and generosity. And if you notice, it's not just the heart space, that's the Merkaba. This is above and below. This is the unification of things. This is the idea of that non-duality. It's not outside of me, it's not inside of me, it's one. It's not them, it's not me, we're one. Really understanding that cosmic sense of self. So how we encapsulate the fullness of divinity, how we encapsulate our true essence. And this has only come about because there was something that was revealed by many, many storms, by many, many crashing of waves, right? Many hardships. So whoever message this reading is for, you've been through it in this life for sure. And this is a new gateway. We're starting to understand this new vista that's opening up in terms of how old and how ancient the self actually is and the fullness of its story. Some of you may even resonate with, I've seen how it begins and I've seen how it ends. There's some higher level perspective that's coming through in this energy as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. Whoever's message this is, there's something here within the heart space that is the key to something at this moment. And if this resonates for you, please hit like. Feel free to leave me a comment. Until next time.